Hey guys, my name is Acharita. This is Film Companion. You're watching Not a Movie Review, and right now I'm not going to be reviewing X-Men Apocalypse. It's 1983, Charles Xavier and Magneto have parted ways, X-Men have disbanded, and Professor X is just calmly recruiting mutants and teaching them mutant stuff at his school for gifted youngsters. But suddenly, we meet N'Subbanur, or Apocalypse, who's the oldest mutant, like ever. Like he was a mutant before you were even into mutants. Like he's so unheard of, he's practically underground. Hipster mutant. For real, that's where he comes from, the underground. Suddenly when a bunch of men start reciting chants, Apocalypse, who's been chilling like a villain, pun intended, for near 4,000 years, thrusts himself out of the ground and then starts to walk around, essentially looking for a calendar. On the other side, Magneto, who's trying his best to lead a non-violent life, has a wife and a daughter, and is working in a factory where his primary job seems to involve wearing overalls, sleeveless shirts, and move heavy objects for full muscle rippling purposes. But something happens that I can't tell you, and he joins Apocalypse's team, who so far has recruited a teenage Tom, Angel, and this chick. Mystique is going around rescuing mutants where she can, and hence brings Nightcrawler over to the Professor, who has also recently taken in Cyclops and Jean Grey. Yeah, all of this is the first 15 minutes of the movie. There is so much going on, plot line per plot line, उसके अंदर एक और plot line. जब तक मेरे को realize हुआ कि Oscar Isaac is Apocalypse, तब तक interval हो गया था. There were some major WTF moments in here. One where a bunch of the good guys are trying to escape an enemy area. They find a plane which the Beast can fly and lead them to safety. Sure, the Beast is a science guy, he knows his stuff. But suddenly, Mystique, I believe, points to rows and rows of fancy-looking cryogenic chambers of sorts and says, hey guys, look, flight suits. And they all flight suit up. Everything fits and looks really sexy. Imagine how Deadpool would have dealt with a situation like this. Probably stuck in a flight suit 2 sizes too small. Another scene has a few of the bad guys standing around listening to Apocalypse's crap about this was supposed to be the center of the universe and now it isn't. And now I'm going to destroy all the nukes and then destroy this planet. Ek to bhai, why? Why? And ऊपर से his sidekicks, or horsemen as the legend goes, are all standing around like this with wind blowing in their hair. I'm not making this up. For what seems like a really long speech, everyone is perched on their personal rocks posing for a superhero-themed Kingfisher calendar shoot. Oh, and that Quicksilver scene, remember that we loved in Days of Future Past? Slow-mo, running around, catching things, moving people. He does the exact same thing here. Literally the same thing in a longer scene. Having said that, there are some sequences that really do blow your mind. Professor X versus Apocalypse's physical and simultaneous mental battle, an unexpected superhero appearance, and Jean Grey's moment where she realizes her full power and makes shit happen. Also, McAvoy and Fassbender are meant to play frenemies. Definitely better chemistry than our other superhero frenemies, Batman and Superman. The movie really takes off in the second half, so sit tight, it will get better. The setups are all there, the stories are falling into place. On a scale of 1 to 10, X-Men Apocalypse is 143 minutes long, almost 2.5 hours. So unless you're really into superheroes or your girlfriend is, it might be thoda difficult. You know what blew my mind? When a couple of years ago I realized James McAvoy was also Mr. Tumnus, the half-man, half-goat in Chronicles of Narnia. So cute. And now your mind is blown too. I'm all about these fun facts. Subscribe to Film Companion to get more fun facts and your film fix.